This video is AI generated and is intended for people who would love to see beautiful actresses going bald on screen. It's purely for entertainment and does not depict real people or events. No harm or offense is intended. Viewer discretion is advised as the content is fictional and generated by AI technology.
In the bustling city of Chennai, Officer Kajal was known for her arrogance and lack of intelligence. Her disdain for the local villain, Mata, was well documented. She used to mock him, pointing at his bald head and dark skin, drawing laughs from the crowd. Mata had warned her, "Enjoy your mockery while you can, officer." The wheel turns for everyone. His words were a forewarning, but Kajal, in her hubris, laughed it off. Days later, her negligence led to her suspension. Right outside the station, in her haste and distraction, she hailed the first auto rickshaw she saw. Unbeknownst to her, the driver was Mata, the very man she had tormented with her cruel jibes about his bald head and dark skin. Just as they passed a quieter stretch of road, Mata turned slightly, his voice low but clear. "You've had this coming, officer." Before Kajal could react, he sprayed a mist of liquid towards her face from a concealed bottle. The substance was potent. She inhaled sharply in shock, coughing as her vision blurred and her senses dulled. In moments, she slumped unconscious against the seat. Kajal found herself in Mata's trap, her arrogance being her downfall. He brought her to his secluded hideout in the deep, dark forest outside Chennai. When she awoke and insulted him once more by spitting on his bald head, Mata's patience snapped. His men dragged her into the open forest. They made her sit on the damp, leaf-strewn ground, her knees bent, her body slumped in defeat. A bucket of icy water was poured over her head, her hair becoming heavy and sticking to her face, her clothes clinging to her skin. Mata stood over her, a smile of satisfaction spreading across his face. His chosen barber approached, razor in hand, while another man neatly parted her hair from the middle of her hairline, creating two distinct sections, left and right. The barber began with the left side. He positioned the straight razor at the edge of her hairline, the blade catching the sunlight. With a slow, deliberate motion, he drew the razor through her hair, the first swipe revealing a line of bald skin. The wet hair fell in a clump, sticking briefly to her shoulder before hitting the ground. Kajal felt a surge of anger, her eyes burning with humiliation as the barber took his time, each stroke a deliberate act. He continued, the razor moving in a steady rhythm down the side of her head, each pass removing more of her hair, the bald skin gleaming more with each swipe. The barber seemed to savor the moment, his hand steady, his eyes focused. Mata watched, his satisfaction growing with each lock of hair that fell. Moving to the right side, the process repeated. The barber realigned his stance, and with the same meticulous care, he began from the hairline again. Each swipe was a revelation, the razor gliding through the wet hair, the sound of it cutting through the silence of the forest. Kajal's emotions shifted from anger to a deep, sinking sadness, her identity stripped away with each stroke. Her scalp began to feel the warmth of the sun directly, a new, unshielded sensation. The barber continued, each swipe on the right side mirroring the left, until both sides were bald, the symmetry stark and cold. Finally, he moved to the back, where her hair was thickest. Here, he took even longer, ensuring every pass was perfect. The razor cut through the hair in long, sweeping motions, the back of her head now feeling the breeze for the first time. Each swipe was an act of transformation, the barber almost artistic in his method, enjoying the act of shaving away every last strand. Kajal, now completely bald, felt the weight of her humiliation. Her scalp, once hidden under her prideful hair, was now exposed, reflecting the sun's harsh light. Mata's gaze was one of triumph. Each stroke of the razor had been a step in his revenge. "Now you see," Mata said, his voice low but clear, "how it feels to lose what you took pride in." Kajal sat there, on the forest floor, surrounded by her hair, her emotions, a complex mix of anger, sorrow, and a dawning realization of empathy. Her bald head, now matching Mata's, was a physical manifestation of the lesson she was forced to learn, one of humility and the cruelty of judgment based on appearance.